Welcome everyone back to Wrestling with Politics. My name is Joel Perez, and today we're once again going to talk about the Green Party and Jill Stein, who recently had a big interview on The Breakfast Club. And I'm going to be honest, I just made a video about Jill Stein, and we probably wouldn't be talking about this. I wouldn't even be making this video right now if it wasn't for the fact that The Breakfast Club didn't decide to just have a normal interview with Jill Stein. They didn't decide to have a softball interview like they did for Joe Biden, who told Charlemagne that if you don't vote for him, then you're just not black.
3 words have ignited a political and racial firestorm.
So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Of course, when the Green Party candidate enters the room, they have to also have a Democratic propagandist randomly appear to rebuttal everything she says. And that's why we're here today talking about this video, because if you watch this entire interview, which I encourage you all to go and do, because it's clearly being suppressed by YouTube, but if you go and watch this whole interview, it will reveal what happens to the Democratic propaganda machine when confronted with the reality of the fact that the Democratic Party no longer serves the interests of working class voters. Despite the attempt to derail this entire interview, Jill Stein still managed to destroy this Kamala supporter with truth and fact. Now let's get into this interview.
Where?
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
We in the building.
Y'all are the Green Party presidential candidate and running mate. Tell the people, what is the Green Party and how are they different from the Democrats and the Republicans?
Well, for one thing, we don't take money from billionaires and bankers and AIPAC and Wall Street and the war machine. So we're a people-powered party. That's what makes us totally different. That's what liberates us to actually tell it like it is and to stand up and fight for the people, for the health care that we need as a human right, for the housing that we need, because half of America right now, half of all renters are struggling to keep a roof over their heads. That's not a surprise, I'm sure, to the listeners on this program. 87 million people don't have the health care that we need. Our schools are in crisis. We got 44 million people carrying student debt and a climate crisis. Yet we're spending half of our congressional dollars on the endless war machine, bringing us the likes of the genocide in Gaza and beyond. We got 3, nuclear wars in the making right now. This is where our dollars are going. It's half of our congressional budget. It's $12,000 on average per household in America to keep this endless war machine going right now. Yet we have such urgent and dire needs, especially among communities of color and African Americans. We've got really critical needs that we need to be meeting. And that's what the Green Party is about, actually fighting for people, planet, and peace over profit.
What would you say to people that feel like the Green Party is really taking votes away from Democrats and it's a disruptor? A lot of people, especially a lot of older people, when you talk about other parties outside of Republican and Democrats, they say, all they're doing is being disrupting. They're just taking the votes away from other parties. What are your thoughts on that?
And right from the beginning of the interview right there, if you hear the agenda that Jill Stein lays out and the things that Jill Stein starts to talk about just in her intro right there, talking about the military-industrial complex, talking about the homelessness crisis in this country, talking about severe issues that strike to the very heart of what people are going through right now. These are things that you never hear on mainstream media. These are things that you're not supposed to hear on radio shows. And that's exactly why the first question here is completely oppositional and completely fake. What sense does it make to ask Jill Stein why the Green Party is taking votes away from the Democrats when it's Jill Stein who's running for president? I mean, isn't that the whole point of running for president? Trying to take votes away from the other party, trying to build a movement of your own? But when the Green Party does it, it's completely disruptive and it serves no purpose. But that's bullcrap, because the Democratic Party isn't entitled to anybody's vote. The Democratic Party has to earn your vote, and if they want to earn the voters of the Green Party, then they have to actually offer the Green Party voters something to vote for. But they won't do that because they don't actually plan to offer voters anything at all. All they plan to do is bring on gaslighters like Angela Rye, as we saw in this interview, to gaslight you, brainwash you and convince you that the only moral option is voting for the Democrats. Even if you're being told straight to your face that the Democrats are supporting a genocide and are killing people in Palestine, you're supposed to ignore that and vote for them anyways, because Team Blue, no matter who. But it's not gonna work like that, and that's why everything that Angela Rye said in this interview got dismantled by Jill Stein, and we're about to get into that clip right now.
What you have are people that need a certain level of validity to the campaign. You will not hear Donald Trump or Kamala Harris tonight on this debate stage saying, hey, it's not just about us winning. Winning is everything. And even if we want to say, hey, this shouldn't be a binary choice. I grew up also raised by an activist. My dad brought home the picture of all of the parties in South Africa.
Show you right.
A multi-party democracy is great. That's not what we have. We have a binary choice between.
Well, you may say so, but the American, it's not in the Constitution. The American people, don't want that. The American people are explicitly on records in absolutely unprecedented numbers saying we want other choices, and not only do people want other choices, they want to hear their choices.
I do believe in a third party. I think we need other options, but it does seem like you all have a lot more smoke for the Democratic Party. I just wonder why.
Yes.
And Charlemagne the God must be missing brain cells to ask a question like that. Why does the Green Party have more smoke for the Democratic Party? Well, they have a Democratic propagandist sitting right in front of them trying to make it seem like it's a binary option in this election, like there's only two choices on the ballot, when the third choice, the Green Party, is literally right in front of them. And it's crap like this that makes it just so blatantly obvious that it is a Democratic propagandist right in front of you. They can't help but to reveal their biases, and I'm not claiming to be unbiased, but it's just funny how Angela Rye and all these Democratic propagandists are always biased in the face of power. They're always biased in the direction of these politicians who will continue to lie to us into every single war. And when somebody like Jill Stein is sitting across from her, she completely ignores every single point that Jill Stein makes about the struggles that everyday Americans are going through. And she instead turns the direction every single time to something irrelevant and something about how the Green Party can't win and how it's all about winning, when it's also about changing people's minds. It's also about making sure that the Green Party gets to 5% and they can get matching funds. It's also about a future battle, but she makes it seem like it's all about this election. It's all about the fact that the Green Party can't win, when the Green Party, let me tell you, they're already winning right now because their message is being seen by more people than ever before.
That amounts to rape and so forth. So this man is a domestic terrorist and a criminal. Okay, she can look to Kamala Harris and say, sorry.
Come on, my brother.
Hold on. No, it's honest to God, no disrespect, to be perfectly honest. It's just the way that I had gotten used to pronouncing the name, because it resembles a name that is used in West Africa.
But you understand the point of getting it right, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to. As the brother on the team with the other, you gotta.
Absolutely. I will not make that mistake again. Okay, I'm begging.
I love seeing black men get jumped by black women.
No, hold on.
It's not me.
Listen.
My edges just don't do it.
It's just triggering.
Yeah.
It's triggering.
Listen, richly.
And what a disgusting environment it must have been to be in the same room as these people who are acting like they're so triggered and they're so pissed off because this guy can't pronounce Kamala Harris's name right, but they're not pissed off when Jill Stein and her vice presidential candidate Butch Ware are telling them about the genocide and the ongoing slaughter of Palestinians. They're not pissed off when Jill Stein and Butch Ware are telling them about the fact that Americans can't afford their rents, that Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't care anything about that, but they care about how, they damn sure do care about how Kamala Harris's name is pronounced. That's really, really important. Are you kidding me?
Democrats. And the main thing about working families versus true independent, non-corporate political grassroots parties, we are under attack by the Democrats in particular. And that's what, it's the Democrats, it's not the Republicans. Right. It's the Democrats who bragged starting back in March that they now had an army of lawyers to basically exercise lawfare, looking for trivial details where they could do a gotcha and get us thrown off the ballot, violating the spirit of the law to basically eliminate their competition. They have also advertised publicly for infiltrators and spies to mess up our ballot drives, and they also hijacked our public funding, $300,000. I know it's not a lot in the scheme of what Democrats and Republicans run on, but we're a grassroots, people-powered, low-budget party. That public funding meant a lot, and that's part of the reason why we're not on in three states.
I just have a question, and I would want all y'all to chime in on this. Is it fair to call the vice president a war criminal when she's actively calling for an end to the war now when she's just the vice president?
Well, it's lip service. I mean, she could.
What James Ball would say, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. You have the power to influence policy now. Sorry,
she's the vice president. I mean,
but she could at least speak out. She could speak out.
But she is.
No, she speaks out in the same way that Biden does. Not a single one.
Where they held them off, where they slaughtered them like animals in Gaza, and then they muzzled them like animals in the Democratic
Even when they are faithful supporters of the party and of their candidates, they still would not allow a single Palestinian to get up and talk about just to humanize Palestinians.
So it means nothing to call for the end.
Well, Biden is already doing that. He's already.
And once again, Charlemagne the God plays the role of the useful idiot right here. He acts like he has no clue what's going on. Even though he knows exactly what's going on, he pretends to be stupid here, as they always do, and he pretends that Kamala Harris actually means what she's saying when she's calling for a ceasefire. Kamala Harris is completely genuine, and she's not lying to you at all, and she's gonna do exactly as she says. Even though Biden and Kamala were the ones who were in charge when this whole thing with Israel and Palestine started on October 7th to begin with, let's just leave that part out. And that's exactly why Charlemagne is full of crap. And this level of gaslighting needs to stop.
All of a sudden, people that you could count on that were solid through and through as abolitionists suddenly become apologists for empire.
Have you thought about why?
Yes, of course I've thought about why.
Why is that? Why is that?
The reason is that we have this aspirational hope that is related to like black achievement and black power and black excellence, and it was weaponized in the Obama presidency. So let me.
Could it be something else?
Please educate me.
Could it be? I know her.
Yes.
Could it be that she is someone who listens to voices on all sides? Could it be that when the opportunity, you can turn your head, but I've been in the room. You can turn your head, but I've been in the room, Dr. Ware.
Don't be disrespectful, Dr. Ware. You're not, though.
No, I was not.
You might have just been feeling the spirit, but I'm just saying, I've been in the room.
I was actually not turning my back. I was looking to see what the response on the other side of the room was.
We're just over here engaged.
Yeah, no, because I can't see the people that are behind me. So no disrespect.
And of course, Angela Rye thinks it's a flex that she's been in the room with Kamala Harris. Well, we knew that you were bought and paid for. It was obvious from the moment you started speaking. And then she just goes to reveal right there what she's all about. All she cares about is that she's been in the room with Kamala Harris. She's the one who has the experience, and the entire reason she's doing this is the access. That's truly why she's here. She wants access to Kamala Harris. She wants an interview with Kamala Harris. She wants to be in the room with Kamala Harris. And guess what? Congratulations. She will get that to happen for her. She will be in the room with Kamala Harris. But let me tell you, if these are the kind of people that Kamala Harris is listening to, well, she's not going nowhere with this presidency.
Go ahead.
I would definitely like to hear.
Could it be that someone...
You're getting a little nervous. I understand.
No, I'm straight. I just have
Although that might be true,
I can't help it.
You don't need to be protected from me. My words are not words. Actually, it's just perspective. I've been in the rooms with her on justice reform issues, and others help to convene those rooms where she's been more open, because what we do know about how politics works is that it can't just be this wish agenda. I love a lot of what you all have on your agenda. I'll call it the after 7 ready or not agenda. I'll give you the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, the mountains. But there's really
who called it a wish list? You mean the same people that spend $1 trillion of y'all's money blowing up other people's kids or saying it's a wish list to have an actual social program?
I think that's propaganda. It's not propaganda. I'm saying it because I've worked on Capitol Hill. It's very difficult to get what you're trying to achieve. So just for example,
Jill can talk about what you can do just from the executive office.
Ware,
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Just for an example, I'd love to know how many voting members in the United States House of Representatives?
So we have been blocked. The Democrats throw us off the ballot. They interfere. They put spies and infiltrators on our campaign.
How many voting members?
Compare us.
No. Answer the question. How many voting members in the United States House of Representatives, Republican, Democrat, and Independent? How many total?
How many total are there? What is it? 600 some?
No, it's 435.
Plus 100 in the Senate, right?
100, yes, I said House of Representatives. Okay. 100 in the Senate. Of those 435 in the House, of the 100 in the Senate, how many, just one moment. I'm not trying to put you on the defense. I'm just saying this because the Hill is my passion. That's where I grew up as a professional, right? How many of them are Green Party members?
Okay, I know where you're going with this.
I'm not going
you
anywhere.
are attempting to show that the Greens are powerless. I want to make the point.
I was not trying to show you're powerless.
Well, this is usually part of that argument.
What was the point you were trying to make, Angela? What was the point?
I'm going
before you rebuttal, Dr. Stein, what was the point?
I want to know how many voting members of the Green Party in the House or the Senate.
Currently, there are none. However, if you look at the American people, how many are voting against the genocide? Hardly any. How many are voting for health care as a human right, which would actually save us $500 billion a year? We, the people, are not represented. So not being there is not a strike against.
Once again, I just want to say, don't believe anything that this lady has to say. Everything that this lady has to say is complete propaganda, and it's a talking point from the Democratic establishment to come after the Green Party for not having any representatives in the House or Congress in general is not a strike against the Green Party, exactly how Jill Stein says. Because if it was a strike against the Green Party, then that would mean that this system is not entirely captured by corporate elites, and that's exactly how it is. And that's exactly the problem. That's exactly why Jill Stein is running, because the system is entirely captured. There is no voice for the people, and we're trying to fight back against that. But establishment propagandists like Angela Rye are only there to demotivate you, to convince you to go home, that it's not worth it, it's never gonna happen, and that's exactly why movements die, and why you can't listen to people like Angela Rye, because they are being paid for, they are bought, she is there for a reason. It's not an accident that they just happened to invite her on for this week's episode of the show. No, this was organized and cooperated by the Democratic elites, by the Democratic establishment, to make sure that Jill Stein didn't get any word on the Breakfast Club, that she didn't get her point of view across. But guess what? If you go back and watch the full interview, she did get her word across. And every piece of Angela Rye's bullcrap and propaganda was properly dismantled by Jill Stein. So Angela Rye, she can go back to her audition for MSNBC. She can go get her little cable news show job and get paid $1 million per episode or whatever the hell she wants to do. But we're going to be over here fighting for change, fighting for progress, and fighting for there actually to be a Green Party in Congress. For there actually to be Jill Stein as a presidential candidate who people take seriously. And we're going to be over here continuing to fight for the future. And if you want to fight for the future with me, then make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Stay tuned for the next video.